We're live. We're on our next edition, our next journey, if you will, with our podcast on different things about fitness. So reps, regrets, and recovery. So I'm here with Christian. Christian, you're from Alloy Personal Training, right? GM over at the Westchester location.
Yes, sir.
So today we're going to be talking about motivation. What causes us to not be motivated. What we go through to get motivated to come back to the gym. There could be small battles that we deal with. It could be big battles that we deal with, and kind of how we go about making sure that we're always staying motivated, and how we help people in terms of motivating them and stuff like that to help them get through some of those things. So I think it's important to kind of tackle each one a little bit separately, right? So there's little things that kind of are a little, like, kind of get in your head, right? It's 90% mental. So what do you go through when it's something that's kind of just nagging at you, whether it's an injury or something small that's just like, how do you get motivated again?
Sure, I think the big thing is not to let the small things kind of snowball. Don't let whatever setback it is kind of put you in a bad headspace, and I think the best way to kind of do that is to give yourself some grace. I think if you're a little bit too hard on yourself and you start to get in that mindset, it sets you back a little bit further than what you want to be or where you want to be. So I think the big thing and where I start at is always my mindset and not letting myself fall back in my head. Like, talk good to yourself. It's good to talk to yourself and have good self-talk when it comes to certain things like
Positive
that.
reinforcements, definitely. You got to kind of find that happy medium that I find too. And what I mean by that is, like, you can give yourself too much grace, right? Like, oh, it's not a big deal that I missed, so I'll just miss another one. Like, you can't go that route either. But
I think my when I say that, it's more of like you can. For example, I have an injury. I have a rotator cuff injury right now, and it's hard for me to do pushing movements, bench press, push-ups, any of that. It's really bad right now, and that's not stopping my training. I'm still hitting anything that I can that doesn't give me any pain, and I think just working through that and then getting to a point where I'm able to get back to just say square one, where I'm able to do a push-up. That is kind of my mindset and kind of my plan going forward whenever I have an injury, is work around it and then do other things. I'm sure we'll get into maybe some of it when it comes to injuries in a future episode, but work around it and try to do something. That's my big thing. Don't let it keep going.
With that too, if you don't know, there's plenty of resources to help you on how to work around it, right? Get with somebody who knows, a personal trainer that can walk you through those things.
Absolutely.
Obviously, sometimes it gets so bad that you do need some physical therapy or what have you, and they can give you recommendations on what to do and not to do. The general consensus there is that no physical therapist that I know of or that I've worked with has ever told somebody not to work out at all, usually, unless it's some sort of serious sickness or serious health issue. Obviously, if you have a broken leg, you can't do squats. That's an easy one, but you can certainly do some upper body stuff for sure. And I think that's one of those things where we can use excuses and things and use that as a thing that kind of de-escalates you a little bit, or deflates you rather, would be probably a better way of saying that. Like, I have this injury, so I can't work out, and like you kind of get down on yourself because you really truly want to go to the gym and truly have results, and you just can't. So it would be a perfect storm, if you will, to kind of go down that road, use that shoulder as something that's deflating. But there's so much more to working out than just that small thing that you're trying to get over, right? You got to fill your mind with positive stuff, like you said. Like, okay, what can I do? What positivity do I get out of staying into the gym, right? There's lots of it. You get the consistency, right? If you fall into bad consistency again, kicking the can down the road, I'll get back into it after I fix my shoulder, or it's just not worth it to go and work out and just do a lower body, right? And especially if you have a trainer, there's other things that they can do with your upper body than just your shoulder movements, like a chest press or something. Then certainly most of the time, especially with the shoulder, there's different presses that you can do that don't aggravate whatever it is. Usually it's either a pushing motion or an overhead motion, but so you can take those things out of it to keep going, to keep in that consistency and look for those wins. And I think that's another thing, right, is looking for the wins to stay positive. Like,
Absolutely.
you still have goals and everything for your lower body. Squats use like 80% of your body to do those. So you're still getting all that workout done. You can still do cardio in those situations, like with your shoulder. So it's summertime. You can do it's cut season for most people. I don't know where you're at in your rotation, but those are all things that you can work on. Okay, well if you can't do chest press, you're still going to do X, Y, and Z to get to some of your goals. So that's like not being hard on yourself. Maybe you can't reach all of them because of the shoulder, but you can reach most of them by continuing to kind of work out and get through that.
Right.
Do you have anybody that you rely on for like when you get in those spots, whether it be an injury or just I just don't feel like working out, or I just like it's hard, right? It's you got to go and physically do something that causes a little bit of pain in the muscle or soreness in the muscle. So
I mean, I don't have anybody specifically for that, but I do kind of not to be cliche in it, but like my son, like I don't want to be out of shape for him. I want to be a strong masculine figure in his life. So doing the hard stuff and then being able to come back and when he's able to kind of comprehend that and tell him like, there were points where I was down or I had this going on or that going on and I was still able to get it in. Like that is I think my driving factor when I get into places like that.
Yeah.
So the outside family kind of aspect, wanting to do it for them, is a big thing for me.
That is a big thing, and it's important to show those things to your kids when you're changing your diets and you're changing your eating lifestyle and habits, right? Like your kids are going to know that too. It's important for them. I get a lot of times, well, I don't want to make 2 different meals for my kids or different things like that. It's all what you show them, right? And so show them some of that. Make them at least try some of those different things. Some of them aren't as wild and crazy as you think. Like some of them are very small things. For instance, like just eating better pasta instead of having the regular pasta, have protein pasta in it with lentils or whatever the case might be. So things like that are good, and to have a win, right? Doing something else, it's in your diet, which is part of working out. So one of the things I think people can benefit from if they have a personal trainer, or even if they don't, is finding somebody that can motivate them in those times. Right, and talk them out of themselves, talk them out of their own head, basically.
Actually, I want to kind of take it back a little bit. I do kind of rely. I think coming to the job that I have, seeing you, seeing Jess, you guys are in good shape. So I think that's another thing. Is like kind of your peers and the people that you have around in your life and people you work with sometimes can help fuel that a little bit. So I think that's another factor. It's just like the people around you, and to like circle that back to like what we do at Alloy and at Westchester specifically, we have a lot of people that have been working out together a lot. So I think that kind of, you get into that position where you're injured or something happens, and it's like you don't want to let the people that you see every Wednesday, every Friday, so you let them down and not show up. So I think that's a big thing when it comes to it.
Yeah, it's definitely who you surround yourself with. If you're around a lot of people who drink a lot, chances are you're gonna drink a lot. Right? Like,
for sure.
I know in my own personal life and things like that, that was always something that was tough for me to get around. It wasn't the dieting, it wasn't the going and working out. I can do that. I actually prefer to work out. I like being sore and things like that. I'm a little crazy, I guess. But for me, it was reducing that alcohol intake was the hard part, right? And you could get down on yourself.
Sure.
Oh man, I did it again, and I missed the next day and working out because of a hangover or whatever the case might be, or the results aren't as great because of alcohol, right? So you have to keep doing that and get over those failures, right? And that's one of the things that I think people kind of get too caught up on is those little failures. And here's a hint: we all have them. Yes. They might not be exactly the same. Everybody has a failure. And so I'm a strong believer in failure is good. It's good in the weight room, right? You want your muscle to fail. But it's also in some cases good to fail on your diet, or maybe missing coming to the gym, more of a mental thing, not you bought into an excuse you gave yourself. So it's easy to kind of do that, but I think it's good to fail because you learn how to succeed through failure, especially in this realm. And it can teach you, things in other parts of your life too, but you learn how to not fail the next time. If you had a certain goal that you were trying to get to, right? Like, I want to lose 10 pounds in 2 months or whatever the case might be. Let's say you only got to 7 pounds or 5 pounds, or maybe you didn't lose anything at all. Like, what positives can you take from that? And then how did I fail? What did I do wrong?
Re-strategize, that's the big thing.
Yeah.
Is the way you fail is like you were saying, you want to learn from it. You don't want to just fail and be like, oh, okay, let's go to the next day and try it all over again. Learn from it.
Yeah.
What helped? What triggered maybe that bad eating? What triggered you not going to the gym? Like, have that external talk with yourself and really get down to the root of it. I think that's a big thing.
And too, if you can't figure it out, that's okay. That's a learning experience
Sure.
too. You
Absolutely.
don't know everything. I don't know everything.
No, I certainly don't.
Right? So I go to somebody who knows, whether that's a friend, a personal trainer, or whoever, and I say, hey, what did you do in this situation, or how can you help me with this, right? And you have that job, right? People come to you. So if someone is feeling a little frustrated with not seeing results
Sure.
and things like that, maybe they've missed because they're just frustrated and they're like, I don't know what to do. This doesn't seem to be working. Like, there's a lot of stuff that can go on. What are kind of some of the steps that you take somebody through?
I think just like what I was kind of talking about before is like we have to dig deeper, right? Like what caused us to get to that position, and not really blame. You really can't put the blame on anybody else when it comes to that. I think that's a big thing too. Is it's good. Obviously, you're paying money, and you want to have as much success as you can with the trainer because you're giving them the money, but that you have to take that and actually run with it, right?
Yeah.
So we have to, I think for a lot of people, you have to get into the mindset of, how can I utilize this the best way I can? And then also when I get outside of the gym or outside of wherever the trainer is at, how can I maximize where I'm at? I think the big thing when it comes to people not seeing results is the eating. Obviously that's huge, right?
It's a huge piece,
So,
especially as you get older, metabolism slows down, your hormones and everything are different in both men and women, and especially women. They go through menopause and things like that, so that completely changes everything and makes things a little bit more difficult.
Right. So that is probably my go-to when it comes to anyone that's not seeing results. Is we start there. We take a look at your diet. We see, how can we improve it, or what is making you, maybe bingy, or eat a little bit too much of the sweets, or the fats or the fried food, anything. Like,
Where's the weak spot that we could fix?
Exactly. And I think from there, once we figure that out, I think just trying to get in their head how good, because this is something that I truly love, I truly appreciate, and I believe it can change so many people's lives. And there's, if you look online, like there's just so many, like America is just, the stats are like, there's so many obese people, there's so many people that are going on GLPs or doing this and doing that, and I don't really think, just in my opinion, not really talking for the gym or for Scott in this, is strength training is the way. You have to show up and you have to be there and you have to really put effort towards getting stronger, because that's, not to sound like a meathead, like getting stronger is the pinnacle of it, because it gives you so many benefits. It helps with bone density, it helps with so many things when it comes to like chronic illnesses and stuff. So I'm just so passionate about like kind of pushing that on to people, because it's life-changing. It's something that's helped me through my life. So if I'm able to kind of open people's eyes and kind of seeing it how I see it, I think that's a win for me.
Yeah, that's a huge win, and it's a good thing to point out too. Is getting stronger means different things for different people.
Sure.
Right. So if you have sometimes a little old lady or something, maybe it's just to add strength, add some a little bit of weight and muscle mass to get into those golden years, or to stay away from the scarpopenia bad results falls and things like that. You need that muscle mass there, because there's going to be a point where no matter what we do, your muscle's going to start to go away, right?
Yeah.
So if you start at 20 pounds, it takes a lot longer to get to that point versus if you have 10 pounds of muscle in legs, right? Like just as a small example. But it's important for that. Like, and then for you, it could mean maybe you want to look like Arnold here, right? Like the strength means different things to different people.
Right.
And at different ages, it's meant different things to me. You know, I was younger, I just wanted to be stronger and get bigger.
Yeah.
And you know, I just don't have that frame, never really had that, never had somebody to push me and help me get there, so it just didn't happen. So now I'm kind of like going at it again, and I'm 41 years old, so things are different now. I've had to learn how to work out different. I've had shoulder cuff injuries as well, and so failures as well in different capacities, whether it's diet or alcohol, like I explained, or not using perfect form led to the shoulder. Pushing too hard led to that shoulder injury. So there's that. And so I think too, with personal training and fitness, it's not like you mentioned kind of paying for something and you want those results. It's not like you're painting a car where like I give you money, I get a car back that's red or whatever, right? This is very much you're paying for the opportunity and somebody to take you to the water,
right?
But you have to drink it to get the results. So you're kind of doing both. Like you're not paying somebody to paint a car and then you have to spray it, right? Like
exactly.
You're paying for a service for somebody to help you, and to utilize that is one of those things that you kind of have to learn how to do. And that is asking questions, or when you're frustrated before it gets too far down the road of not seeing results, is asking the trainer, right? And I think too, from a trainer's perspective, we try to, and I hope you do, you try to be a little bit more proactive with people, right?
Absolutely,
so how are you proactive with people to try to get to that before they start feeling frustrated?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think
so. I know you guys do like in bodies every month and stuff like that.
That is a big thing, is the check-ins with people and kind of seeing where their head is and their head space, and then also getting a little bit more information through the in bodies and the assessment that we do every 2 months to a month. So that is a big thing on kind of what we do at the gym, and trying to stay on top of that is huge, because I mean, you go through it and you don't have no check-ins, or you don't have no place to kind of give you guidelines or give you something to help you in the future, right? Because you're doing your in body, you're seeing the muscle, if you're losing weight, if you're losing body fat. So getting that information is huge, and then being able to talk over that, and then getting deeper with someone as far as if they're seeing, if the thing on the paper looks good to them, then I mean, you still have that conversation. But if it doesn't, then that's when you kind of dig deeper and see kind of what's going on and go from there.
I think it's important to find those wins, right?
Yeah.
Because we're all going to struggle through it. If it was easy, everybody would do it, and everybody in America would be, thin and look the way they want to look, or however that is for that particular person. It is difficult, and that's why you get help and you have somebody to talk through things. And I think before you get down a path of, getting into your head about stuff and looking at failures the wrong way, it's good to have somebody kind of walk you through that. But it's still on you to stay positive, right? You still have to buy into that. Like, go at it 100%. If you're paying somebody to train you, go at it 100%. Say, I'm going to give this 100% effort. I'm going to do whatever they tell me to do. I'm going to completely buy in and see if this works.
Yeah.
Because if you go in and you kind of tippy-toe through and you're like, well, this sounded good and I wanted to do this, or I wanted to do this part of the diet but not that one, you're not flipping over every stone to make this thing work.
Sure.
If you really want it, this is the hardest part is signing up, but then you've got to actually go through with it and do it.
Yeah.
And you can either have excuses or results, and you can't have both, right?
Yeah.
Like, so that's a big one. But
yeah, I was gonna say, like, to kind of get back to that conversation you have, I think it's good too, because like I'm pretty vulnerable with people. Like I would tell them, like, I've been kind of similar to in your shoes. Like, I've failed a lot. I've been out of the gym for a long periods of time, or I've been unmotivated, or I've binge ate, or I've gained a couple pounds here and there. So I have been through a lot of the things that some of these people have been through. So trying to relate through that too, to make sure like, hey, you're not alone in this, right?
Yeah.
Like there's other people that are kind of going through that. It's not just you, right?
It's in fact, it's everybody that's in the gym,
Right.
whether they have a personal trainer or not.
Yeah.
We're all in that, including personal trainers.
Yeah.
Right? We all have those failures that we have to mentally kind of work through. I do my in-bodies. They're not always what I want them to be, right? Or I've got certain areas where it just naturally, genetics, it holds more fat.
Yeah.
And like, I really want to work on this. And it's been like that my whole life. It's not going to change just because I started working out a little bit differently for a couple months. It's something I have to continuously work
Absolutely.
And if it's not that, it's going to be something else that I'm looking at, right? And that's how you keep getting better and better. So it's important sometimes just to look at the small wins,
Yeah.
right? Like, hey, I might not have gotten to all of my results or any of them, but I stayed consistent this week, right? And that's a win.
Yeah.
Okay, now I have to reassess what can I do better at. We've kind of discussed that a little bit. And so what it sounds like is you guys go over the in-body and pick out like, what's happening or what's not happening.
Right.
Assess the situation and say, okay, your body fat percentage went down, your skeletal muscle mass went up, but your weight stayed the same or went up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So that's a good time to explain what the body's going through and everything like that. But
Right.
those are wins. That's a big win. Or like, nothing could have changed at all.
Yeah.
So how do we assess that? Well, we go back to how hard you're pushing yourself in the gym. Are you getting a failure? All those different things.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a mental block. So I like to take people through like a one-on-one where we do like either a max out or a three rep max to figure out if they're getting stronger, because that's a win.
Yeah.
Number one, most importantly, but two, it could mean that they're stronger than what they thought they were, and they've used lower weights, and so yeah, you feel a little sore or whatever from using those weights and going through the exercise, but you're not actually getting to failure.
Yeah.
Okay, that's something we can fix.
Right.
We can take those notes, put those notes in. The other thing, a big thing, is diet.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, well, I don't eat a whole candy bar every day. I now just eat a little one. Well, we've got to make some sacrifices too to get those bigger wins.
Yeah.
And so those are conversations we have to talk about.
Yeah.
And some people I've heard like, hey, I've increased my protein. I've listened to what you said. And so then it's like, well, let's take a look at that, because maybe there's something else there. What kind of protein are you eating?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I eat chicken wings and,
Okay,
are they deep fried chicken wings? Like, what's going on, right?
Yeah.
And so, it could be something that's a little bit harder to identify. That's an easy one I brought up just offhand, but it could just be, how are you getting to that 100 grams or 150 grams of protein? How you're getting there is very important, right?
Yeah, it is.
So, what do you look for when you look for like a whole, let's say somebody does their whole diet, right? And they're getting to their protein goal. What do you kind of look for in that if they're having trouble getting results? Let's just say the result is losing weight, right?
Yeah.
What are you looking for in that diet approach?
There's a few things, and you touched on a good amount of them. It's like the quality of it, right? You want whole foods. That's the big thing. You want to get your protein from the right places. Chicken, eggs, steak, beef, all that good stuff. So I try to kind of push that on some people, just because you want to stay natural. That's a big thing. And I would rather someone get protein from chicken breast than a protein bar. Right, because there's so many ingredients and stuff.
Yeah,
that goes
they are
into that.
supplements to your diet.
Right.
They are not meal replacements. That's important.
Exactly. So that's one thing that I look at, and I think just like the frequency too of when they're eating. Like we have some people where they're like, I'm not really losing weight, but I only eat once a day, right?
Right.
And it's like you have to eat a little bit more, especially for your metabolism, and explaining that can be tough, because you would think like I'm eating less than I was prior, but I'm still not getting the results I am. And I think just trying to navigate through that and give the best advice I can when it comes to that is kind of the key to it when everything is said and done, right? So
Yeah. It's kind of like if you your metabolism is much like a fire, right?
Yeah.
So if you just throw a bunch of logs and stuff on there, a bunch of leaves and everything, it's just gonna smoke.
Right.
And eventually the fire picks up, right? And then it dies back down and goes away. So you have to get it going, and you have to keep it going and
Yeah.
throw one log at a time. And that's kind of what your diet's doing. So if you don't eat anything and then you just throw a bunch of wood on there,
Right.
you're almost gonna smother it out.
Right.
Really, it's gonna do the opposite. So
And that's gonna hinder, especially with like the once a day eating. Is that sustainable for you? Like I want the diet thing to be a lifestyle change, something that you can do for the rest of your life
right.
and stay healthy. So I think enjoyment too is a big thing when it comes to the diet. Like you have to enjoy it a little bit, right? You can't be completely strict.
And to be clear, there has to be sacrifices.
Yeah,
right?
Oh, absolutely.
You have to, because you can't keep eating the same way.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that you have that as a known fact, but it has to be sustainable.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
you have to find a happy medium that you'll sustain, and that's tricky.
Yes.
Because I think the other piece to that is food tastes too good.
Yeah.
Right, when you have a lot of processed stuff, like your body gets used to all that salt and the sugar, and like then you go backwards eating more whole foods, and you're like, the taste isn't quite there.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Especially if you don't know how to season your food.
Yeah.
And so I use different hot sauces and things like that to season my food, or you can use different marinades for chicken and stuff like that, or different rubs for steaks.
There's so many like low calorie, low sugar barbecues and ketchups, and there's good replacements for stuff like that you get a good amount of flavor out of whatever you put it on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that's what I try to educate people on. And if you take a look at their diet, usually you can kind of find some places to kind of cut some calories or make their protein intake a little bit better.
Yeah.
I think in some cases, depending on how many grams of protein that they need, it's going to be tough to get there without supplementation.
Sure.
To get away from all the carbohydrates, calories, and fat content that you would typically eat.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm suggesting you eat 5 or 6 times a day and it's got to be a full meal each time, right?
Not.
So a meal, if you're eating 4 to 5 times, to be clear, if you're just eating 3 times, a meal is not a protein shake.
Yeah.
That is an extra meal on top of to
Yes.
get you to your protein goals without all the calories,
Yes,
right?
Agreed.
So you've got to break it down to that. I try to eat 5 or 6 times a day, so I'll split breakfasts up. So I'll have breakfast, then I have a shake, that's 2 meals. And then for lunch, I'll generally cut it in half, whatever I'm eating, and eat it twice, about an hour in between each other if I can, or a half hour, whatever the case might be. And then for dinner, I'm going to eat half and half again to spread that out so the metabolism keeps up.
Yeah.
And I focus on trying to get maybe some snacks in there, right? Just little snacks, anything to kind of boost that up that's low on calorie, like a string cheese or something like that.
Yeah. I think the big thing is being prepared, right? Like
That's a big one.
do the things that will, what I like to do is I use my Sundays as kind of like my meal prep day.
Yeah.
Now, am I making meals for every single day of the week? No. Like I have my bad days. I'm doing it a couple days in advance, so I'm able to get a good head start on the week. And then, when I get to that point where I'm out of meals, I do it again, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just prepared for it.
And let's be honest, the week, especially Mondays, get crazy for everybody, I think.
Yeah.
So if you're not preparing, you're preparing to fail.
Yeah.
Right? So Sundays are a big thing. That's when I do mine as well, is do that. And I try to make them very simple and then add some taste to it. So like, simple as some rice and eggs. It doesn't get much simpler than that, right?
No.
And cook the eggs the way you want them. It doesn't matter. Just cook them the way you want them. I put a little bit of seasonings on them and stuff like that, and they're different every time. So even for my breakfasts, I'll switch those up, but they're all easy.
Yeah.
Right. So breakfast, I don't really meal prep. It's more the lunches because that's what I have to take.
Okay.
For me personally, that's the way it works.
Yeah.
My breakfasts are typically really quick, so I'll do like Simple Truth has protein waffles. Pop them in the toaster. Put some almond butter on them, a little bit of fruit.
I love their pancakes.
Pancakes?
Yeah.
So, if you have time, those are great because you got to make those, whereas you can pop waffles in the toaster. Maybe a little bit of milk or almond milk or whatever you like to drink with it, right? But it's very conscious of calories and protein what I'm doing there, right? Like I have 12 grams of protein from the waffles. I've got about 8 or 9 from the milk. The almond butter's got another 5 to 6 grams of protein in it. So it's very it's very purposeful.
Yeah.
So I'm not just waking up and just cramming stuff out of the refrigerator real quick and then jetting off.
Now let me ask you, when you wake up, right, do you enjoy eating that? Like, do you look forward to eating that?
So eating for me is a little bit different.
Okay.
And so I've really learned about how people think about food from just, being in personal training and asking questions.
Right.
I didn't ever quite get it before. Like, people have a lot of head noise. Like they think about food, and they and it's not satisfied unless they have something or have something similar. So
Yeah.
I guess I'm fortunate enough not to have that.
Yeah.
I could literally go all day and not eat and not think about it.
Okay.
Until I get hungry for dinner.
Got it.
And I used to live that way.
I'm the opposite. I'm the opposite.
Yeah, most people are.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I've had to learn and kind of figure that out,
Yeah.
right? So do I enjoy it? Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It's food. Like
Right.
it's I view it more as like it's kind of just in the way. Like I'm always go type of a person.
Right.
So I've had to kind of force myself to rethink of it in that way.
Yeah.
So we all struggle with something. I have to eat more, or I'm gonna go back to looking the way I was before.
Sure.
I was, a little less. Actually, weighed a little bit less, and was more full of fat before. So right, so I've had to purposely,
You gotta do a ring hop, right?
yeah, I have to. I would say I have to force myself to eat, but I
Okay.
have to consciously do it,
Right.
or I just won't.
Yeah.
It's nothing for me to just. I could skip lunch and not even. I'll be like, oh shit, it's 4 o'clock, and I totally skipped out on lunch.
Right.
So I don't have to really enjoy the food as much as like other people, but I want to like it,
Yeah.
right? So I'm not going to eat something I dislike, right? So I'm not a big pasta person, so it's more and you really shouldn't eat much of that anyways.
Stay away.
Unless it's Skyline.
Never stay away.
For whatever reason, that pasta is really good. So it's kind of just making sure it's something that I like enough to eat,
Sure.
and that it's okay. So like Greek yogurt, for me too, like food, especially in the summertime, I like it cold. I like to eat colder food.
Yeah.
More so in the morning, and then when it gets around to like wintertime, I like to eat warm food for whatever reason. I don't know if anybody else experiences that or not, but as long as it's something that I somewhat like,
Yeah.
I don't mind doing it, I guess I should say.
Okay, got it.
Whereas I understand, like, for other people, they, I could just eat a regular piece of chicken. They need that marinade on there. They want, put something on it.
Right.
I can just put hot sauce on it and go and just get through it. But again, I can't just eat like collard greens or Brussels sprouts. Not gonna eat that.
Yeah.
Right. There's certain
Yeah.
foods I just will not eat.
That's no fun.
No.
That's no fun. My big thing is my big weakness is sweets. So I have a Greek yogurt bowl that I do that completely satisfies that, and I have that in the morning. So it gets me through my morning and into my lunch and throughout the day, and I just feel so good from it, and it feels like a treat to me. So I look forward to that each morning, and I have fun with it, and I get a bunch of protein in.
Yeah.
I put protein powder in there. I'll put some granola, some honey, some blueberries, mix it around, enjoy it. It's great.
That does sound good. I
Yeah.
wouldn't mind trying that out. I'll have to get that recipe written down from you. But yeah, I think for when it comes to diet and stuff like that, most people, they're thinking about it. They go back and they rely on bad habits, right? So like, I know one of my members, they like pizza, and they're like, I love eating pizza, and I'm not gonna stop eating pizza. if it's that important to you, just keep in mind it's kind of like running through water.
Yeah.
You're still gonna get to where you want to go, but it's gonna take you a little bit longer if that's the one thing you're not gonna give up, or at least reduce it from your diet.
I think the thing is too is like trying to get them to, because you can make a homemade pizza with a good amount of protein in it and some decent ingredients, right? It just takes time.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to put the time in, you can still have that pizza, but you're also hitting your protein,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and it too, if you're making it, it gets you up off the couch.
Yeah.
And no, you're not burning a ton of calories, but you're burning more than sitting on the couch doing nothing. You're burning more than clicking on your phone to order that pizza,
Yeah.
right? And so there's tons of different recipes, and some people don't like to cook though, and that's why they're doing that. It's all quickness in America. How fast can I get it? How easy can it be? So again, there's going to be some sacrifices. What are you willing to sacrifice, and what you're not willing to sacrifice? And you kind of have to learn that as you go and keep making those adjustments. You're going to fail a little bit, and just recalibrate and do it again. So I think one of my going on cheat meals. One of mine is chocolate.
Okay.
So I used to crave chocolate a lot, especially when I'd go on a diet. And so what I learned from kind of reading and stuff and getting information is typically when you have a craving for something, it's a lack of some sort of vitamin or something that you're not getting, and that's why you have those cravings.
Yeah.
It's kind of like sometimes you feel hungry when you're really thirsty because your body doesn't really know the difference. It knows it needs something.
Yeah.
And so then the cravings start, and you're like, ooh, that pizza, or you get it in your mind, or whatever the case might be. So, so having a better diet has helped with that. But I mean, I love a good chocolate chip cookie.
Who doesn't?
So when I do cheat, that's one of the things that I eat is that.
Yeah.
So we're getting towards the end of the podcast. So one of the things that I've started to want to try to ask people is, what's something that you do every day? What do you rep, right? And not to think of it outside of the gym, not necessarily like you rep weights, but what do you do every day?
Okay.
That has to do with staying in shape or diet or whatever, right?
Okay.
What are some of the regrets, failures, or something that you made mistakes on here recently? And then what are you doing for recovery, shoulder or soreness or anything like that?
Sure. So the first one, what am I repping?
Yeah.
Right? Staying in the fitness aspect of it. Okay. God, I'm so boring, man. I love to throw my son around. That's a big thing. We go outside, I throw his ass around. Excuse my language. I throw him around. We run. We go on big walks. I'm trying to get his energy out, but in doing that,
You're doing
benefiting.
it yourself. You're staying active.
Yeah.
You're doing something.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think that too can be a mistake for a lot of people because I'm going to the gym 2 or 3 or 4 times a week, so that's all I got to do, right?
Right.
No.
Yeah.
The whole thing is you got to be more active, and you should want to be more active, right? Like hikes or getting out on the bike or walking or
Doing something.
doing
It's so much
something.
fun. You don't ever regret doing that when you come back.
Pickleball
Yeah.
is like, some people, I know some tennis players don't like pickleball. Some of them do, but a lot of them are like, I don't want to play pickleball.
Yeah.
But pickleball is one of those things. It's I don't love the sport personally. I have other sports that I like, but it is kind of fun to play and stay active. I never regret, playing my sister or playing somebody, with pickleball. You get a little active, you run around a little bit. It's not something where, like tennis, where you're running and stopping and it's a lot of pressure on the joints and something. It's something everyone can enjoy.
Absolutely.
I've played like literally like a little old lady and she mopped the floor.
Yeah.
So it was completely deflating.
Yeah.
As somebody who's highly competitive and you look at the sport and you're like, this is easy.
Yeah.
And you're like, this lady who's almost double my age just completely
skill
kicks
to
my
it,
butt,
man.
right?
Yeah.
It stings a little bit. The point is anybody can do it.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't have to be crazy workouts. It can just be something.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
So
I recently, to kind of add to that too, because like that was starting to get a little bit too like easy, like the walking and all that. So I put on a weight vest now, and that makes it a little bit harder. So I try to make things a little bit harder.
yeah,
when
there's
it
always
comes to
somewhere where you can progress.
that. Yeah.
Right. It's you walk, right, and then eventually you jog.
Yeah.
Eventually you run,
Yeah.
right? If you want to take it back even further than that, first you crawl.
Right.
Right? So,
Yeah.
and it's the same thing with everything. You got to crawl before you walk. You got to walk before you run. All those type of things. So,
Yeah.
So moving on to regrets. So something that you regret recently that in the fitness realm or diet realm.
Oh. That's a good question. I think probably eating. Now, my eating's not the worst, but there are some times where I have some weak moments, and my. Okay, I do have one to go back to my son. Whenever he doesn't finish something,
Okay.
I finish it for
You
him.
finish it for him.
Because I don't. I always grew up with you clean your plate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not always the best thing, but that is I don't like to see food still out there, and he's big on kind of
And he's probably eating little kid stuff. He's like what, 2 or 3 or something?
2, yeah.
Yeah, so he's eating little kid stuff like
Yes.
macaroni and cheeses,
Mhm.
hot dogs,
Mhm.
chicken nuggets.
Yes.
So it's like I like chicken
Uh-huh.
nuggets. I like macaroni and cheese.
Yeah. So I think that's one of the things. I'm pretty self-aware about it, so it has been better. But I will say when he was like, the other day he had like the little Tyson chicken nuggets, and he had a couple on there. I was like, don't mind if I do. So yeah, that's I think that's one.
Yep, and that stuff, it adds up, right? Like
Yeah.
it's just, let's say one nugget, but then one nugget over 7 days, right? Or, and I'm sure he's eating more than one meal a day,
Yeah.
but whatever the case might be, you add up all those, and all of a sudden that's an extra, I don't know, 500-600 calories
Right.
for that week.
And the
It's
thing,
those little things that add up, and it's
Right.
not just that. It's, oh, I only had one handful of Cheez-Its or chips, right? And
Yeah.
then I just had that one nugget. Like, it's not a big deal, but it adds up over time.
yeah, I mean, it definitely doesn't help my goals. Right now, I'm trying to cut, but like very strategically and very slow. So I'm only in like a 200 calorie deficit, right? And once I eat that chicken nugget or two, now I'm at maintenance, right?
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
kind of hinders that
Yep.
process.
It's good to think like that too, right? Like, that's important. So, all right, so that's your regrets, and now recovery.
Recovery. Yeah, so I read an article about isometric holds for your tendons. So the big thing that I've been doing lately are I'll be in a push-up at a 90 degree or until I feel a little bit of a twinge in my rotator cuff, and then I'll hold that position for 30 seconds, like nothing to where it's painful, but just doing that, and then obviously doing some dynamic stretching beforehand has really helped my rotator cuff. But the isometric holds, I wasn't really accustomed to that.
Yeah.
So a lot of the things that I'm doing, my pull-ups, I'm holding at a 90 degree, I'm holding it for 30 seconds, and that's been helping a good amount on my rotator cuff. I've been having trouble with this since I was in high school, because I had
Interesting.
horrible form,
Yeah.
trying to bench, probably
Yeah,
for
high
some
school
girls.
coaches in the past,
Yeah.
maybe some of them even today, they aren't the best in terms of teaching correct
Yeah.
form and stuff like that. And I wasn't either.
Yeah.
That's probably where mine started, and everything else.
Yeah, so that's the big thing that I've been doing, and I guess it's scientifically proven to help your tendons and help in that recovery process. So that's the big thing that I'm doing now, and I just want longevity. That's the big thing. So I don't want to feel the kind of the pains and the aches that I feel right now. So recovery is really important to me, and it's something that I'm learning more about each day. So.
Yeah, no, you'll never stop learning, and when you stop learning, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So, I actually just learned something from you. I haven't read that article. I didn't know anything about it. I've been through rehab with my shoulder twice.
Mm.
That's the consequences of going heavy and.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, the second time, that's where I was like, okay, that's enough. Like,
Yeah.
I got some goals. I'm sick of this. So I started reading into things. Obviously I knew what I knew from physical therapy, but I was like, okay, what else? What else can help? So I did a lot of research on, maybe it's my form.
Mm.
Because in a chest press, you don't have mirrors to see that. And that's what a lot of people do when they have mirrors in the gym, is they're looking at their form,
Yeah.
right? Some of them, looking
Wanna
at their
look at
muscles,
themselves,
and they
yeah.
want to,
Yeah.
that's fine. But I use the mirrors usually for looking at form when I can. So, and that's not a position that you're in where you can really see that.
Right.
So I relied on a friend of mine who I work out with to really kind of just watch that, and then also take a couple steps back
Yeah.
and take some light weights,
Mhm.
and I looked up some videos and stuff on the exact perfect form,
Yep.
and just tried to get into that form more, and then ask him, am I doing it right? Is
Yeah.
this, what I'm thinking I'm doing, is it correct?
Right.
And then doing, as I go heavier, making sure that I don't feel that stress on my shoulder. The other thing that I learned from actually watching, I follow Jay Cutler on Facebook, is the reasons why a lot of bodybuilders don't do full range of motion movements. So,
Like locking out.
you can go all the way down, right?
Yeah.
And then you can go all the way to lockout,
Yeah.
whereas he stays in the sweet spot
Mm.
right in there. So
Yeah.
he's never in full one way or the other. And it takes the stress, if your form is correct, it takes the stress off of the shoulder. Because as you go all the way down, you're using more of your shoulder.
Right.
And then as you come up, you're starting to use more of your chest, but your shoulder's already engaged.
Okay.
So taking some of that out of it has really helped, along with the form thing was the biggest thing,
Yeah.
bar none.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing. But now, not only do I have to do all those things, now I have to constantly stay kind of in recovery to keep it from going back the other way again.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Especially as I go up in weight. And today, I'm doing more weight than I ever have, and I can still feel something there, but it's not, sharp pain and soreness. So I'm always looking for different ways. So I'm gonna try that.
Try it.
Too.
Try it.
yeah.
It's great.
So there's some other things too I'll do, like some warm-ups where I'm just, I learn that physical therapy,
Yeah.
get blood flow into those shoulders first. So
Yeah.
that'll help kind of protect the area from the inside out versus just firing those
I
outer
think the
delts.
biggest thing, especially when I go to my gym and I see people warming up, is they're doing stretches, like static stretches. That's not good for your activation of the muscles and getting you ready for a heavy set, right? You want to
Yeah.
be doing dynamic stretches. Take a band, pull it apart, do something where you're moving the body and getting some blood flow into the shoulders. I think that's helped me, even though that's like a small thing, but like my first time when I got injured, that was the thing that I changed, is adding that. And then, like you said, the form is everything.
Thinking about it too, warming up was a big thing for me. I would just go in there and just start lifting.
Yeah. Yep.
Sure you need to stretch. Yeah,
Right.
sure you need to warm
I would
up.
walk past the warm-ups place, or wherever the warm-up is, and I look at the people like, what do y'all do? What are you guys doing? It's
Yeah.
like, they're smarter than me, I'll tell you that.
Yes, yeah. So warming up now is just a part of it.
Yeah.
Even if I have to go a few minutes early just to kind of warm up those shoulders, get some blood flow into them, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. Static stretches, like you said, it's much more important now
Yeah.
because I've learned my lesson.
Mhm.
Right? And so it unfortunately took that to learn the lesson, but it's all those little things, right? It wasn't just one thing that's gonna fix it. I know Instagram people, they love to put on, you do this one thing and you're gonna get big traps.
Oh shit.
No, you won't.
I hate it, man. Goodness.
It's all those little pieces, right?
Yeah.
And the more that I get into that arsenal, into that tool belt, I'm gonna keep using all those things to stay away from that injury. Especially, you're 26.
Just turned 27.
Just turned 27. I'm 41, so my body doesn't heal as well as yours does anymore, and so you're gonna feel those aches and pains a lot more. Sometimes getting out of bed gets a little rougher.
I don't know, man. I feel like as soon as the clock struck 12, I start getting aches and pains.
Well, wait till you're 41. I mean, I will say, lifting properly and doing more things right has really decreased that soreness.
Yeah.
I've had injuries in the knee and stuff. You're never going to make that go away. When it rains or when it's cold, you're going to feel some of those type of things. You just feel it less.
Yeah.
It's not as big of a deal to get out of bed. It's not as painful. Or sometimes it does completely go away. But yeah, so you're just filling that tool belt, whatever it is, right? You got to get all the stuff that you can, and I can't say that I did it all myself.
Right.
I'd be lying, whether it's following people on Facebook or Instagram and kind of weeding out what's good and not so good,
Yeah.
and then asking those questions to people who are much more knowledgeable than me,
Mhm.
or even like listening to you talk about the different things from an article, like taking those and trying those things and putting more and more things in there. So it's all of the people I surround myself, going back to kind of what you said, my personal trainer and my friends I work out with, my personal trainers here, Jessica, I shouldn't say here, but at Alloy when I go there, and Jess when I go there. She's a good piece of good good person to ask a lot of questions because
Yeah.
she's got that master's degree that I don't
Right,
have, right? So
yeah.
you ask those questions, you're like, oh wow, like when I was younger, that used to be the thing, and now it's not. They found, science didn't change. I don't think it's just we found out more about it, and to where the knowledge is different. So that's helped me out a lot, is listening to other people.
Yeah.
And so that's, having a personal trainer is a big piece of that. Letting them tell me and listening to it, and not just what I want to hear.
Yeah.
Your job's a tough one because you have to.
I really don't think so, only because I'm so passionate about it. So I'm gonna leave here probably, go home, and probably learn something else about this, because I want to continuously be better at this. I want, when our client or our members come in and ask me a question, I want to have that answer for them. I want to have the best possible answer for them. So
What I meant in terms of tough is tough because there's those people, right? Like you're trying to teach them something or help them in a certain way,
yeah,
but they have to buy into it.
sure.
Like you're leading them to water, but they've ultimately got to drink it.
Yeah, that's
And you can't always be there. They're with you an hour or so, throughout a couple hours throughout the week. But there's 24 hours in a day where they're left by themselves. Right?
You're right about
They're
that.
left to wander and do things wrong and
Yeah.
eat badly
Uh-huh.
or not listen when you say go home and do this, recovery piece to your shoulder or whatever it is. So that's what I mean by it's
Got it.
tough.
Got it,
You
yes.
got to convince them
Yeah,
that
that is the part. That is the part.
Yeah. So, well, cool. Well, I'm glad to have you on. It was fun. We ran a little bit longer than usual, but that's okay. But yeah, another episode, another journey of reps, regrets, and recovery. Thanks for watching, everybody.